Hello friends, today I take up a new topic and this is called Kalinga War. As you know that Kalinga War was waged between the Emperor Ashok and the people of Kalinga, the modern day Odisha. Now my lesson plan includes introduction, causes of war, impact of Kalinga War and conclusion. Friends, as you know that Kalinga War had a far-reaching impact upon the future statecraft of India, and that's why I have taken this topic and how the statecraft in India was completely changed and how Emperor Ashoka took up Dham Ghosh, I mean the drumbeat of righteousness instead of Bheri Ghosh, drumbeat of conquest. So this war has far-reaching impact upon the course of Indian history, and so now let us start the proceeding. But before we start, please share and subscribe my channel IAS Academy on YouTube, and you will find numerous videos relating to Indian history, Constitution of India, Indian economy, Indian geography, general mathematics and logical reasoning, general science, all topics on one platform. So this is a free channel, please get benefit out of these lectures. Now let us start the proceedings. So friends, if you want extensive details about the Kalinga War, then I will make again video on this topic. For the time being, I am just restricted to the important points of Kalinga War. Number one, introduction. So this is the map of the empire of Emperor Ashoka, and you see the whole India including Kalinga or the except far south, all India, the present day all India were the part of Mauryan Empire during the Ashokan period, and now its western boundary touched Hindu Kush mountain, the scientific frontier of India. Now, this war was fought in 261 BC between Emperor Ashok and Kalinga, and I have already told you that the present day Odisha formed part Kalinga in ancient period, and this war resulted into the victory of Mauryans, and this war led to the victory of Mauryan, but there were huge casualties on either side. So you see that 6 lakh Mauryan army fought against 1,50,000 infantry, 10,000 cavalry and 700 war elephants of Kalinga. 70,000 Mauryan armies were killed and 1,50,000 Kalinga army were also killed. 1 lakh people of Kalinga were made captives and many more perished according to 13 Rock Edict. So you see that in all total 2,50,000 people were killed in this war. So now we see that after the decline and downfall of Mauryan Empire, a new empire of Kharvela was established in Kalinga, and it subjugated and overran even Patliputra, and we get all these information from Hathi Gumpha inscriptions. So causes of war. Now we switch over to causes. What were the causes to lead for leading war? Number one, Kalinga was earlier the part of Mauryan Empire during the Nanda dynasty. But when the fight occurred between Chandragupta Maurya and Dhananand, the interregnum period was very much exploited by the rulers of Kalinga, and they became independent of Nanda Empire. So, what you see? They liberated themselves when a struggle between Nandas and Chandragupta Maurya took place. Again, Chandragupta Maurya could not conquer Kalinga. His army was repulsed. He tried again and again to capture Kalinga, but his army were repulsed by the stout bravery of people of Kalinga. Now, Kalinga was a strategic threat to the Mauryan Empire because it could interrupt in communication between the seat of authority, I mean Patliputra, and the peninsular and Deccan areas captured by Magadha. So it was necessary to control and subjugate or to annex Kalinga into the Mauryan Empire. Again, another important factors for the cause was Kalinga was very much rich, and so the wealth of Kalinga was another temptation. Moreover, Kalinga controlled the coastline of the Bay of Bengal, and traders and merchants used to go to Southeast Asia, and because of the beneficial trade, they amassed huge wealth in Kalinga. Now, impact of Kalinga War. What were the important impacts? And I have already told you that this war had a far-reaching impact upon the course of Indian history. And so, number one, Emperor Ashoka was moved by the large-scale massacre in this war, and I have already told you that how 250,000 people on either side were killed. Again, Verigos drumbeat of war was replaced by the drumbeat of righteousness by Emperor Ashoka. Again, this war caused great suffering to Brahmanas and Sramanas. Sramanas means Buddhist monks, Jain monks, and Brahmin priests. Again, people of Kalinga, tribals and distinct religious groups were to follow the principle of Dhamma. Emperor Ashoka completely relinquished war henceforth. So we see that he promulgated the policy of Dhamma. He sent ambassadors of peace to different countries like Egypt, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, or Greece. But he did not adopt peace in all circumstances. He retained Kalinga. He did not return Kalinga even after getting emotional or moved by the huge massacre of people on either side. But he retained Kalinga. Again, did not disband his huge army. So he appointed Rajukas to punish recalcitrant elements, Dham Mahamatras to promulgate Dham, the principle of Dham among the people. Although he was converted to Buddhism, and we know from the Bhabru edicts that the personal religion of Emperor Ashoka was Buddhism, but he did not foist his personal religion Buddhism upon his subjects, like Aurangzeb in Mughal period or Firoz Shah Tughlaq in Sultanate period. So he did not preach any sectarian faith. He wanted that the institution of family should be strengthened. He emphasized compassion towards animals and relatives, strengthened the institution of family and existing social class. Now conclusion. What conclusion we derived from this war? Number one, Kaling War changed the course of Indian history. Number two, non-violence now became the part of statecraft. Number three, no further conquest was made by Emperor Ashok. Number four, military became weak, and after 50 years of the death of Emperor Ashok, hordes of invaders like Indo-Greeks, Scythians, Parthians, Kusans invaded India through the route of northwestern areas. Now the army could not withstand the onslaught of foreigner attack. The conquest of Kaling did not last long, and after some time Kharavela threw the Mauryan yoke and established his own dynasty over Kalinga. He even overran Patliputra also, and the exploit of Kharavela is found on Hathi Gumpa inscriptions. This is the inscription, or although it is in dilapidated condition, but by these inscriptions we find that how Kharavela becomes so much important that it overran the modern day northern Bengal or Patliputra or Patna or Bihar, UP. So he founded a vast empire in Kalinga by subjugating or by overrunning different kingdoms. Although the Emperor Ashok accepted Buddhism as his personal religion, but he did not foist his religion upon his subjects. So he did not believe any sectarian faith. So friends, that's why Emperor Ashok is reckoned as one of the greatest monarchs that world produced. And he can be equated with Akhenaten. Akhenaten of the Egyptian civilization. But we doubt that he may not be acquainted with the policy or religious policy of Akhenaten, the great Akhenaten in Egyptian civilization. So now I conclude my lecture. You see, this is the rock edict of Emperor Ashoka. This map shows you, and so many rock edicts were written by Emperor Ashoka for the benefit of people. How he announced or promulgated his policies about the statecraft, about the religious policies. So 14 rock edicts are available to us. So friends, now I wind up my lecture. If you like my lecture, please share and subscribe. Just subscribe AJIS Academy on YouTube and you will find numerous videos. Thank you very much.